what do they call it, a project I'm doing, I'll just start something, and whenever I'm doing that, I'm off the sadness.
Problems, yeah.
Fine, we shouldn't deceive ourselves. This is reality. Fine, I might not get rid of it finally, but at least it's reducing.
Yeah, it gives you peace of mind.
Then I used to say that my crochet aspect, doing it's helping my hand, though it's affecting my back and my neck because of the sitting position.
Yeah.
But my hand is really helping my hand, my fingers and everything. It has helped me so far, so far.
Okay. Thank you very much for the challenges and everything that you said. Okay, you heard it from Halima. Whatever makes you happy is what you should do. After the break, we'll be taking the fast questions. Please stay with us.
Oga, open your phone tank.
Hold on, please. Let me calm down.
Good evening, sir.
You mean? Hope you've logged off your meter.
Oh, Oga, we no longer tamper with our coal dispense meter because it is cheating and corruption. I will always sell coal to all customers at the correct amount because change begins with me.
Nice one.
How much, Oga?
Fill up.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
They cleverly declined a space in the staggering unemployment statistics. Why wait in line when you can flip the script and become the big boss? Meet the goal-getters, vibrant youth who have transformed their tall dreams into amazing realities, fiery passion into blooming prosperity, skillful vocations into growing enterprises. Share in their amazing entrepreneurial journey. Trade secrets will be revealed. Watch out for the goal-getters, showing on this station. The goal-getters, small businesses never looked so big.
Welcome back. Before the break, I told you we'll be moving back to Halima for the fast questions. Now let's take the fast questions. These particular questions are like supposed to be 60 seconds questions, but I could give you some few seconds to add to it. So I ask you personal questions that you just give me whatever answer comes to your mind. Don't think about it too much. Just be playing with me. Okay, what's your marital status? Are you single? Are you married? Are you know? I don't want to say anything extra.
I'm engaged.
We had a drum roll. Congratulations. What is your favorite color?
I don't have any favorite thing. Anything, I don't have any.
So now that you've told us that you're engaged, now the wedding now will come with any color.
I beg you. I just go with something nice.
Something nice.
Yes, anything nice.
Okay, so I can come with baby people.
You're good to go.
Ah, thank you. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I feel like I can answer that question for you the way you speak. No, please. Still,
you can do that.
You sound like an extrovert, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, depending on the person I'm talking to.
Okay, so you consider me a friend, yeah. What parties? So, with all these things you are doing, you say you are into different kinds of businesses apart from your crochet. we'll be moving straight to social media questions. We have like only 2 questions because of no time. Chima is asking, how do I go about learning how to crochet? I think she's asking, how does she go about it?
It's very easy. Learning how to crochet. Now everything is now easy. You can learn things online. You know, if you have interest in it, you can go for it. You know, crochet is very, very easy. It's not something you have to like, I need 10,000 naira, I need 50,000 naira, I need 100,000 naira to start. It's just for you to get your wool and your yarn. And I guess the least wool for now is maybe 150 naira. That's it if you are not going for what they call it, for the twine. Yeah. Then the hook, apart from the foreign hooks and different types of hook, but just as a starter, the normal hook is just 15 naira, and that is 200 naira. And fine, most people crochet now, but they just do that for, you know, let me just do it now. You know, it's a common things people do. You can go to those people for now if you don't want to go deep, like paying expensive money. You can go to them for the basic, you know, maybe your junior, younger ones, you know, those that you learn from them, then you're good to go.
Moti is asking, just out of the box, how long would it take you to make a shirt?
It depends on who you are. And how fast you are. Okay, if you're asking how long it takes me personally to make a shirt, well, if I'm free, like I remember those days when I'm in the hostel, I'm not at home, that someone needs to tell you do this, do that, cook, do, and run some other messages and whatever. 3 days I'm done. Complete shirt, long sleeve shirt. 3 days I'm done.
Okay. Alright. Thank you very much for coming to the show. It's been wonderful having you here.
Alright, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Alright. That is all we have for you on the show today. Please join us on this same station next week as we will be bringing you yet another amazing entrepreneur who will blow your mind away. I remain your host, Onyinye Honu. Thanks for joining us.
with trending musicals, refreshing videos from up-and-coming entertainers. Keep updated with us every Friday at 7:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Tuesday at 6 a.m. on your reach-out station, NTA2Lagos. Tomorrow Stars, defining the musical trends of the future. Every episode is a must-watch.
It's another blessed month of Ramadan. It is a season that offers unequaled mileage and widest opportunity to maximize rewards from Allah. Take advantage of the endless opportunity by sponsoring any of our spiritually rewarding segments on Ramadan Diet. Tarawih prayers from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, living in the month of Ramadan, interactive segment which broadens your knowledge in Islam. Our call to prayer in 3 segments are also open for sponsorship. For sponsorship and advert placement, please call Ramadan Diet. It's all about spiritual upliftment. Masalam.
Expect laughter with MOG! The Adventures of Apples live on stage, featuring Clip the Drunk, Gandoki, Godons, Zidon, Kofi, Eagles of Wazobia FM, MC Shakara, MC Shaggy, The Stalker, Kenny Black, MC Passion, Koloman, Franco Nero, MC Above, MC Triple U, and many more. Music by African China, Chidima Tenyola Makanaki. Special appearances by Frank Adoro and Ben Obewi of MTN from the famed West Africa. Venue, Ultimate Studios, Funke Zainab Street, Lekki Phase 1, Lagos. Date, Sunday, June 24, 2018. Time, 4 p.m. Host, Ifeyiwa. Tickets available at www.ariatickets.com. Call 0803-944-9209. Powered by Ultimate Studio. Packaged by Odogu. Sponsored. Expensive laughter with MOG. The Adventures of Apples live on stage. Don't miss it.
Are you a competent food vendor? Does your cooking tantalize the taste buds? Yes. The management and staff of NTA2Lagos Network Center seek partnership with a capable caterer in local and intercontinental cuisines to manage the station's canteen. Interested food vendors can pick up a form for a fee of 10,000 naira only at the NTA Television House, Amadou Bello Way, Victoria Island. All application forms must be duly filled and submitted on or before Friday 25th May 2018. For further inquiries, please call Drisu on 070-5079-1978. Announcer, Management.
Bed road is never an end road. Follow the road. It will lead you somewhere, so don't give up. The first major information was to Esau. Esau, make me a venison such as I love, so that my heart will bless you. But this style of approach towards life made him to miss the blessing. The animal that Jacob ended up preparing for the father has always been around the house, but he chose to go far into labor to go and bring another animal. By the time he will come, the father has blessed Jacob. You've got to plan, long-time plan, short-time plan, whatever is the plan, start planning, because not planning at all is planning to fail. Opportunity of a lifetime must be taken in the lifetime of that opportunity, because opportunities are not permanent. Anywhere your parents failed, may God use you to correct the error.
Organ, open your button.
Hold on, please. Let me calm down.
Good evening, sir.
You mean hope you brought up your meeting?
Oh, Oga, we no longer tamper with our call dispense visa because it is cheating and corruption. I will always sell call to all customers at the correct amount because change begins with me.
Nice one.
How much, Oga?
Philo.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
NTA2Lagos Network Center brings you broadcast service wherever and whenever. The
our social media platforms, now live on just a click away. Global news, sports, business reports, politics, issues, events and happenings around the world. Your favorite past and present TV programs, drama, documentary. For your news headlines, log on to www.youtube.com/NTA2Lagos. Watch, download, comment, and subscribe free. It's simply www.NTA2Lagos and explore our world of news and events. Available in all smartphones, iPads, and all Android phones. Like our Facebook page, NTA2Lagos Network Center. You can tweet us at NTA2LMC. NTA2Lagos Network Center. Your reach out station. Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a tiring day? Lagos Resource Center is it. A place of hospitality and relaxation. An interaction center for retreats, AGMs, lectures, conferences, social activities for corporate bodies, individuals and religious groups. The Lagos Resource Center offers you various range of rooms such as standard, deluxe, semi-suites and suites for your comfort. Try out our pastries, Nigerian and international dishes as our Bethany kitchen makes you ask for more. Our hall of various sizes are fully equipped with state-of-the-art facilities and up-to-date training equipment. We also offer professional outdoor catering services, all to your taste and delight. Visit our beautiful chapel for your meditation and prayers after a busy day. You can locate us at 9 Anifowoshe Street off Adiola Odeku Street or Kofo Abayomi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. For further inquiries, call 070-3314-1149 or 080-7502-8582. Email recenter@yahoo.co.uk. Lagos Resource Center, relaxation, serenity and hospitality at its peak. Incoming entertainers. Keep update with us every Friday at 7:30 p.m. and a repeat broadcast on Tuesday at 6 a.m. on your reach out station, NTA2 Lagos. Tomorrow stars, defining the musical trends of the future. Every episode is a must watch.
They believe in the system.
This same system robbed me of my childhood. 20 years later, I'm on a journey to understand what really happened. I was told I had to leave home to go and live with my uncle. I was placed on the back of a motorbike. I didn't even know the driver. I thought it was the strong wind causing my tears, but I think I was actually crying because I was being taken away from my family. And then I was left at a place I had never been before. I didn't even understand the language. They took away my clothes and wrapped me in a purple cloth. They even took away my name.
How old is this little girl? 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held. A shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a Trukoshi, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Do you miss your parents?
Yes. remember feeling a range of emotions.
Neglect, rejection, isolation. Adding to that, the idea of that could have been my life. That could have been my life. That could have been my life. And that's why I feel like I don't watch it much.
But this report changed everything. With the help of a charity called International Needs, an American viewer flew to Ghana to negotiate my release. His name was Kenneth Parini, and he will become my adoptive father. He took me to the US, where I spent the next 13 years. I was relieved to be out after about a year in the shrine, but there was a huge emptiness that could never be filled.
I was still thinking about my to-release family, my birth family. But it was in my heart and my mind. I never stopped thinking about them.
A few years later, my American dad and I agreed I should go and look for them. The charity that freed me helped me find my village and filmed my return. My family had no idea I was coming. I didn't even know if I'd find all of them alive.
Mama, we have you. Oh, we have you.
I hadn't seen my mother since I was 7 years old. I found out I even had a little brother who I had never met. That day was so surreal, almost like a dream. Now that I'm older, I feel ready to explore the cultural background of Chokoshi. It's practiced in parts of Ghana, Togo and Benin by various ethnic groups, one of which is the Ewe. I'm driving into Ghana's Volta region, a large area of lakes and rivers where Chokoshi is most prevalent.
So right now we are following Richard, whom I met the first day of the journey.
After our chat in the Uber taxi, Richard invited us into his community to speak with a group of Ewe elders. To mark our arrival, they were saying prayers and pouring libation to their gods. But they believe if you offend the gods, they can bring misfortune.
I would like to know if there has ever been a human sacrifice.
I heard it so far.
He's talking about Chokoshi, where you are banished from the community to pay for the crime.
Inaugurated by the federal government, PCNI, Presidential Committee on the Northeast Initiative, is one of those initiatives, not from military perspective now. Yes, I'm aware. That committee actually started work, and it's work in progress. Yes, and of course, you know the issue of the SGF and the National Assembly. At a point, there was an abrupt, attempt by the National Assembly to stop the activities because of the probe of the former SGF over certain contracts and all of that. That bad politics took, a negative impact on the activities of that committee. Okay. As a matter of fact, apart from the military, the stakeholders in the Northeast have not been able to achieve, so much compared to the gravity of the situation at hand. Okay. We don't tend to be doing much, and the international organization, some of these organizations that are in the Northeast are being distracted either by discrimination or disdain for the Nigerian people, not to pursue the activities in line with the principles and purposes of the United Nations. Okay. Recently we heard about the UNICEF talking about accusing Nigerian troops of raping people in IDP camps and all of that, and they made it an international report. That is an attempt to take us back to where we're actually coming from, a situation where the integrity of the Nigerian state is not to be taken seriously outside. And when investigations were carried out by groups and other conflict resolution experts, it was realized that those allegations were just mere, hearsay, fabrication. Nothing was investigated. I'll come back to you. Now, government has taken steps focused. International organizations have taken steps focused. Even private individuals have taken steps focused. But we are used to what? They tended somewhere along the line to be distracted. Maybe through politics and other things that happen. So how do we surmount this? Because we're looking for solutions now.
Yeah, I think it is very important for the government to perhaps initiate a policy that will bring the key stakeholders together, maybe the summits or what have you, bring the key stakeholders together. He made mention of the fact that the politicians in that region themselves are comfortable staying in Abuja, and they go to those areas during election, do whatever it is that they have to do, and return back. But they have forgotten that these people are their people, and they need to do anything they can to ensure that these people return back to their homes. I was fortunate to be in Bama sometimes last year, where the PCNI reconstructed the destroyed secretariat, the local government secretariat. It was rebuilt, and that day was for the commissioning. I was privileged to be there, and of course the people who were in Bama are camped in Danori 1, Danori 2, and some other camps. And then during the journey we had stopovers, and we could see people hungry of returning back to their homes. And the few ones we met in Bama, the construction workers and whatever, they're also expressing desire to return back to their homes, because, like you said, the government has taken some action. And with the Bama example, we have really done a very good job, because I was able to see the pictures of before what it was like. It was like when Boko Haram entered, and then what it is at that moment after a lot of reconstruction efforts and what have you. The government has really has done quite a lot, but they cannot do it alone. They need the support of the local people who are opportune, not just the people who are unfortunate, of course, with the crisis. They need the people who are opportune to also key into whatever it is that they are doing, so that they can be quick in fully integrating the people back to their communities.
Okay. Yes, we have identified the fact that, yes, despite steps taken by various intervention agencies, government and what have you, the needed push has not been achieved. And by the records here, let me just set us through. Now in its 9th year, that is the insurgency challenge, the humanitarian crisis in the Northeast remains one of the most severe in the world. 1.7 million persons remain internally displaced. Human rights violations continue to be reported daily, and the food security situation remains extremely concerning as conflict continues to limit the amount of land under cultivation. And 3.7 million persons are expected to face critical levels of food insecurity during the upcoming lean season. That is June through to September this year. The food security and nutrition needs are expected to be revised in March with the publication of the new CADA harmonized analysis. Guys, this is the update as in February, and we're already in May. So given the situation, from your own perspective as experts in this area, what do you think could be a quick win to be adopted to upturn it?
people have actually continued to harp more on feeding IDPs, literally man by nature needs to be pushed to be able to carry out certain activities. If people continue to remain in the IDP camps and the refugee camps, they wouldn't want to return back because every day they get free food, and people continue to provide succor. So I think that there should be a slightly different approach to it, and the approach to it is, if government, the military are clearing these communities, people should intervene through activities that are able to return these people back to their communities. It is better for a man to farm and get his food himself than for government to continue to feed him through sources, that are not even confirmed. Sometimes we hear about corruption in IDP camps and all of that. It is better for these people, and to the best of our knowledge, these communities have been cleared by the military. Life is already going on. They need to return back to their communities to occupy their villages. And from the report you just read, you talked about human rights violations. In terms of human rights violations, I don't really think
the politicized ones.
Yes. No,
you know some of it is politicized.
Fantastic. Yeah, we know that. And you see, when people talk about human rights, I always talk about, as an expert, I always talk about the absolute right and the qualified right. The ones that must be in conformity with the rights of others. And to a large extent, there have not been violation of human rights of people either in IDP camps or at the cause of fighting insurgency. Because in the first instance, the military are there to protect life. They are there to save, to protect the sovereignty of the Nigerian state, to protect the civilian population. And in that case, you do not expect the same persons who have actually come, to violate the rights of people. And sometimes people, could also violate their own rights, But things like sexual practices within the camps, it is just by the nature of man that people continue to lean on themselves, and that has to do with morality, not really about human rights. The military doesn't involve in all of that, but the issue that must be addressed, the immediacy, the best way we can curb the nutritional issue is for government to intensify the rebuilding process of this community, for the military to be on ground and continue to do what they have been doing, for the civil police to be on ground and checkmate, profile people, let us know those who are in these communities, assure the people that life is now safe, they can return back to their communities, rebuild the markets that have been destroyed. Thank God, for some time the federal government went back to the northeast. At the time, people thought it was the heat of the insurgency, to carry out oil exploration in the northeast. These are the kind of activities. If you look at it, if you go to the Biu area, the Nigerian Army is trying to build a university in Biu. That is the best way you can build a community that was devastated, because with the shortage of admission gaps in Nigeria today, if you put a military university in Biu, you are going to attract people not just from within Nigeria. People will come from Ghana and other parts of the world. So we need novel ideas like the army is trying to put in place in the northeast. People must invest in it, and our multinationals, those who are carrying out businesses, an oil company must not reside or carry out its activities in the northeast before you cause intervention, because an injustice to one in Borno is an injustice to another somewhere. This crisis, to a large extent, has been able to remain within the Borno axis, not because the people are not moving out to cause destruction elsewhere, but because of the efforts of the military that makes it very difficult for people to even plan. You can see today that the lone wolf attack that Boko Haram's members are carrying out are not well-planned attacks, and we must take the efforts of the Nigerian military to now intervene, either as individuals, as organizations, as a government, and even charitable organizations like the churches. We haven't seen them do much in terms of curbing the humanitarian crisis in the northeast. The mosques are not doing much, and if you take Libya for instance, the rebuilding process of Libya was a holistic approach. It wasn't a religious issue, it wasn't a political issue. The people felt that yes, this country has been destroyed by insurgency, we need to rebuild these communities, and people intervened. Recently, the National Emergency Agency is being investigated by the National Assembly, and the things we are getting from the National Assembly are procedural issues. How interventions were caused by NEMA without following due process. No one has actually said money was stolen in that agency, but procedural issues. And we're talking about emergency. In an emergency situation, you cannot wait to follow all the procedure, because, for instance, today there are issues in Benue, there are issues in Taraba, there are issues in Yobe and all these states. You cannot actually sit down to address them step by step before this intervention.
Okay, let me hold it there. You have made a solid point. during emergencies, procedures most times are not followed, right? Yes. We sustain that. Now, beyond what government is doing, I always come from this perspective. Is it possible that even within the IDP camps, the Nigerians around the area show what we call selfless, if there's any word like selfless patriotism? It will go a long way to help, because I said this, we hear of cases where government agencies, multinationals, NGOs, CBOs come there to show support, give foodstuff, and these same people in the IDPs who are supposed to benefit in turn either reback the foodstuff and put them for sale in the market. That is lack of patriotism. Can this hinder the intervention process? If I have enough, instead to go and sell, I have brother within the camp that don't have. Why can't you extend a hand of fellowship? Why should you sell in the first place? You don't have any business for that. If, like you said, if you think it is in excess, tomorrow is always there. That whatever material that has been provided, I'm not sure anybody has been able to provide food or whatever for the IDP that is enough for them to last for several days. There's no basis for anybody to sell any material. It's just the wickedness of man. Man gives to man. So yes, I think let me just chip in. The question of distribution is also actually a problem, because I was part of an NGO that caused intervention in 2016 when we saw the military efforts in the Northeast. A few of us, we came together, got senior friends and colleagues who actually made some contributions. If you go to the Northeast, what you generally see sometimes is a question of distribution. The distribution sometimes are skewed, to favor people who are related to the managers of these IDP materials. And sometimes the international organizations don't even go to the interior. Like if you go to, in 2016, when a place called Kwajafa, it was actually a place devastated. One of the places in 2014, about 40 persons who went to the mosque in the morning were actually slaughtered. And because of that story, no international organization ever went to that community. But as individuals who pulled our resources together, we went as far as Kwajafa, we met with the people, and they told us, we are fine, we have put this behind us, we want to continue with our life, we are happy the military is already here to help us, but we need food, we need seedlings, we want to plant, we want to kick our life again. And
imagine a station where you access information. Think of a station that creates awareness for national development. Imagine a station that prepares you for a bright and greater future. A station for all ages. Documentaries, classroom and television, events coverage, children's programs and variety shows. Always stay tuned to NTA Knowledge on the StarTimes platform, channel 359. For partnership, sponsorship and advert placements, contact us on NTA Knowledge. NTA Knowledge, learning to broaden horizon.
She Poem, a project initiated by AIDA, is intended to pay tribute to the African woman through poems written in Spanish and well-choreographed steps.
My experience working with AIDA was not really easy because normally I'm not used to dancing from morning till night without break. But with AIDA we danced like from morning till in the evening. It was really hectic, but I thank God I could do it. I'm used to Nigeria native dances. I'm used to normal Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo and so on. I'm not used to contemporary dance, but for now, I think I can do it.
The
Loves of the Dancer, which focuses on the human rights of the African woman, was realistically represented.
I was choosing to do the prom with her, and I saw myself doing what I never thought I would do. An inborn thing, because my dad's a dancer, my mom is a dancer. So, yes, I've been dancing for like 10 years now, from my secondary school to this.
Moonlight, which was performed by the duo of Aida and Irene, is a deep interpretation of the experiences of an African woman through dance. The frustration one gets when the power goes off and the inner anger of a woman.
So what we did was not just imagination, it was what I felt. Maybe like now the poem is all about lights and moonlight. What's that thing you experience? How do you feel when there is light? When you talk of electricity, when there is light, how do you feel? Do you feel happy? And in the poem I showed everyone that I wasn't happy, because when there is light I feel comfortable, I feel happy, I have this inner joy in me. But when there is no light, I feel all of this lost, and everywhere is boring. I'm just fed up of everything. That's just the thing about the poem.
A few weeks ago, the world was again shocked with news of the reemergence of Ebola virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Recent reports indicate that about 18 persons have been confirmed dead as a result of the epidemic in the northern fringe of the Democratic Republic of Congo. That is spread to other parts of the continent has led the World Health Organization to swing into action. Nigeria, drawing from previous experience, quickly announced preventive measures, stepping up surveillance and emergency centers in case it is reported in any part of the country. What may have led to this reoccurrence? What lessons did we learn from the 2014 outbreak that can be useful today? These and more are the questions Panorama from the Lagos Network Center will be examining. I am Michael Olale. Don't go away. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has asked the National Boundary Commission to adopt new strategies aimed at resolving communal crises and other matters relating to boundary. This was while declaring open a retreat for managers and other stakeholders of Nigeria's internal and external boundaries. Holding in Abuja, State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Presence here of stakeholders from the executive and legislative arms of the federal government, representatives of state governments, security agencies, among others, the retreat would provide viable and enduring solutions to Nigerians' border problems, so says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Nigeria has over 4,000 kilometers of external borders, including its Atlantic coastline, in addition to the thousands of kilometers of borders that the 36 states and the FCT share with one another. What happens along these borders, the Vice President notes, greatly affect what happens within them. Whether it is smuggling or bankrolling, the impact of undocumented immigration and the security situation, especially in the north central states of Nigeria, or the communal clashes arising from boundary disputes. It is clear that all of these issues are issues that clearly concern the management of our borders and how well we are able to do so. He says the federal government fully recognizes the significance of the National Boundary Commission's role, and as part of efforts to strengthen the Commission and reposition it to more effectively fulfill its responsibilities,
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of 6 distinguished Nigerians as members of the board. Every nation attends to the peculiarities of its border issues with solutions that are nuanced, that are smart, affordable, and result-oriented. We simply cannot afford to do the things that we've been doing for so many years and expect different results. It is time to re-engineer our border, all of our border policies, and I believe that this is the paramount responsibility of this commission, that observe oversight of the challenges of the national boundary commission and we go upon and take the necessary step to guarantee the commission. Recently, the House Committee on Special Meetings conducted a public hearing on a bill for an act to establish the National Boundary Task Force for the protection of persons and prevention of colonial clashes and other criminal acts and other related matters. The bill centered on the need to be proactive and not reactive to border issues. It seems to be at one part of the need to be informed, to exchange ideas, and to bring about on all issues affecting our borders. Nigeria shares land boundaries with the Republic of Benin, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, and maritime boundaries with the Republic of Benin, Ghana, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, and Sao Tome and Principe. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News. Judiciary has been urged to move with the rapidly changing face of technology to deliver justice to Nigerians. Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onage, made the call at a modern symposium on Section 84 of the Evidence Act for top judicial officers and jurists in the country. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okeru reports. Section 84 of the Evidence Act is the section that opens the door for the admissibility of electronic evidence in Nigerian courts of law. Before the passage of the Evidence Act in 2011, evidence generated via internet or through any electronic means were inadmissible as part of our judicial process. But even now, the interpretation of that section depends largely on the court's understanding of the dynamics of technology. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, however, says this divergence will soon give way for a uniform and legal interpretation, which is why a symposium is being organized for top jurists, prosecutors, and investigators in the country. Notwithstanding the laudable provision of the law, therefore, a strict circumspection and acute vigilance must be key word for court in this area of evidence. I therefore urge you all not to be in a haste to deliver rulings or judgments when issues pertaining to non-compliance of Section 84 are raised. The National Judicial Institute thinks that a deeper understanding of electronically generated evidence will help justice dispensation in Nigeria. The law cannot be and is not ignorant of modern business methods and must not shut its eye to the mysteries of the computer. But you believe that this symposium will provide an avenue to brainstorm. Section 84 of the Evidence Act is one of the newest provisions of that act, and with modernization, a large chunk of evidence will come through that means, which is why the National Judicial Institute thinks it fit to train judges and jurists in that area. From the National Judicial Institute, Femi Okeru, NTA2. The need for the international community to synergize for the promotion of world peace without prejudice to one's religious belief has again been emphasized. This was the submission of speakers at the 6th Annual Conference on Law and Religion in Abuja, ongoing in Africa, ongoing in Abuja. Chukwuemeka Wambueze reports. Law and religion, records review, have been in existence since the coming of mankind. However, to strike a balance within the ambit of the law between one's religious belief and another's unbelief has been one of the huge challenges facing humanity. In a bid to finding a lasting solution aimed at tackling this challenge, these experts in law and religious issues are meeting in Abuja at the instance of African Consortium for Law and Religion Studies, ACLAS. We need to understand religion. We need to understand the law. Those who do not understand religion, especially
under the Indian law, and we believe that these belief systems should be addressed by the Ministry of our society.
Human flourishing and reform in Islam, gender marriage rights, as well as crisis and corruption in Africa dominated the sessions.
All the discussions and ideas we get from this conference are going to be very helpful. The conference, which has as its theme law, religion and human flourishing, new participants from within and outside the African continent, and is expected to end on Tuesday in Abuja, Chukwulensoma Brazil, NTA News.
Nigeria has been projected to witness an economic growth of 2.1% in 2018, even as the sub-Saharan Africa enjoys a modest growth uptick from 2.8% in 2017 to 3.4% in 2018. This was revealed at the presentation of the Regional Economic Outlook by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in Lagos. Jane Ojukwu reports.
Despite substantial progress in revenue mobilization over the past 2 decades, sub-Saharan Africa, of which Nigeria belongs, is still the region with the lowest revenue to GDP ratio. Senior IMF representative to Nigeria, Mr. Amin Mati, stated that the sub-Saharan African countries are witnessing slow recovery, though vulnerabilities have continued to soar. He said Nigeria holds the potential to strengthen the outlook if it raises its domestic revenue mobilization and increases private investment towards achieving sustainable growth.
The projection for Nigeria is for going from 0.8% in 2017 to 2.1% in 2018. So that's an upward trend, and that's mainly driven by agriculture and the oil sector.
Heads, Debt Management Office DMO, and National Economic Summit Group NESG highlighted some of the strategies in place and mechanisms adopted towards enhancing Nigeria's performance.
Supposed to be more efficient in our tax area. There are a few things that government is doing that we need to work hard on it and implement speedily.
We raised 100 billion naira sometime in September for the funding of specific roads, 25 road projects across the geopolitical zones. Some of them are nearing completion.
Significant infrastructural development expected given the massive projects across the country and the enabling environment for private sector participation. Observers say the horizon is certainly bright. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
The federal government is to begin oil exploration on Tongenji Island following the reclamation of the land from neighboring Benin Republic. Nigerian ambassador to Benin, Kayode Ogutuashi, who led the government's delegation to the island, assured of President Muhammadu Buhari's support. The Idea reports.
It took the convoy about 4 hours drive from the Nigeria House Cotonou, Benin Republic to arrive the host local government in Ikmokia, Ogun State, from where the forward operation base of the Nigerian Navy led the convoy to the island. Ambassador Kayode Ogutuashi expressed President Muhammadu Buhari's delight for the cooperation and utmost loyalty of the donors to his administration, assuring them of federal government presence in the area.
This is part of also to tell you that the President is aware that this town and this island exists. That it does not only exist alone, that it also continues to serve some very useful purposes, even for the federal government of Nigeria.
Tongenji Island was first discovered in 1976 during the era of the former military administrator of Ogun State, Saidu Balogun. The island has since then been invaded by militants from the neighboring country.
The place is known to have oil for exploration, and oftentimes there have been threats to the people living in this community from our neighboring country if prompt attention are given to it. So, and we also will be praying along our challenges we have in according to what we have said that we are having problem of road. So I pray God will help them to take up with and do it in our own time.
In Lagos, during Dia NTA News.
The preventive measures announced by the federal government to prevent the spread of Ebola to Nigeria has gone into effect at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos. NTA News reports that intake checks are ongoing at the airport. Arriving passengers at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport going through a thermal scanner. It is one of the recent technologies introduced by the federal government as part of the measures to prevent the spread of Ebola to Nigeria. Health officials at the airport have been keeping an eagle eye as the incoming passengers go through the scanner, which records the body temperature.
If the alarm is raised based on preset temperature, then the passenger will be asked to step aside. Then the passenger will be brought to the secondary screening area where further assessments will be done. Part of the further assessment is that temperature check also will be done here using the digital thermometer and the infrared thermometer.
We have advised the porters to check all their thermal scanner and the infrared scanners to see that they are well calibrated and they are working. The airport has also provided this isolation center where passengers exhibit any symptoms of the dreaded Ebola will be kept.
Our washrooms have hand sanitizers. We have provided hand gloves for airport workers that come into contact with passengers.
Following reports of the outbreak of Ebola in Congo, the Nigerian government immediately announced preventive measures. The disease claimed a number of lives in Nigeria in 2014. For further discussion on preventive measures across all board aside the airport, we have in the studio Sunday Onilabu is a professor of medical virology. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, why is the disease reoccurring?
Thank you very much. The disease must always be recurring because the reservoirs are still where they are. And once we come into contact with the reservoirs, and these are wild animals, bats is usually the one actually spreading it. The virus is known to be in bats, and once bats hit fruits, they easily contaminate the fruits. And other wild animals that pick from such infected fruits will usually come down. And then humans, especially the foresters, so they have their own job in the forest. So they come in contact with either the infected animals or the contaminated fruit. So it's the disease that will always be there.
Some have argued that is as a result of not getting the specific drug to address, because most of the inventions on drug are basically based on trial. If I may put it, what is your take on that?
It's part of the reason why the disease will still have to be there, because once an individual comes down, the joy is that there should be a drug that at least will eliminate the disease. The whole world at least is putting their X together and X's together in terms of drug development, in terms of immunotherapy, as well as vaccines. At least the situation now is quite different from where we were 2014.
Is it right to say that the recent outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo is as a result of some of these factors, conditions you measured?
Yeah, that has been there. In fact, this will be either the 7th or the 8th outbreak of Ebola from that part of the world. In 1976, that's when it first started. They reported it in Democratic DRC and named it after a river close to the location, River Ebola. Just to tell us, and since that one we've been having outbreaks of Ebola in that axis. And then of course we know that apart from that the disease can easily spread. So we have more than 30 countries reporting the disease in Nigeria.
What role can an individual play in ensuring that in preventing the spread of Ebola?
Thank you very much. The individuals, they are the ones to actually fight the scourge. Just as we observed from the 2014 outbreaks in Nigeria, is the individual through mass health education that actually helped us to mitigate the spread. So the individuals are the ones that actually need to play that key role. Number one is they have to heighten their hygienic rules of life. And then of course we know the source of the infection through wild animals.
So people that have to do with wild animals have to be very careful. While touching wild animals, they need to put on gloves. And if at all they must process them, they need to have a protection to protect themselves. And then of course, those that need to cook it, they have to cook it very well to eliminate the virus. And aside that one, we cultivate the habit of washing our hands.
Of Rivers State for taking this very bold step in hosting this tournament, and this everything about this tournament, so you should understand why I'm saying tournament. I also want to congratulate and thank Sun newspaper for bringing the importance of the qualification of Sun of the Super Eagles. It's a very, very touching thing to me. When I received the letter, I said, no matter anywhere I'll be in this world, I must attend this. This is the first. And please let us put our hands together and applaud the organizers of this tournament. And the importance of this qualification. Last 4 years, Netherlands played in the semi-finals. They didn't qualify. Chile, champion of CONMEBOL, didn't qualify. USA, they didn't qualify. Italy, they didn't qualify. So we must put our hands together for the 32 teams that qualified for the World Cup. That's the first thing. It was a very tortuous journey, our qualification. We had lost out, not qualifying for the AFCON twice. So we were condemning in making sure that we qualify for the World Cup. We didn't just want to qualify, but wanted to qualify in style. And we didn't just want to make a presence when we get to Russia, we want to make a prominent presence getting to Russia. And the first thing we did was, yeah, we need to have a coach. Our coaches are super, our coaches are international. They will look at everybody and say, I do not have any consanguinity with Nigerians. I want the best. If the best 11 is from Delta, I want to take the best 11. If the best 11 is from Kanu, I want to take the best 11. We didn't want to play any politics. We didn't want any gamble. We went abroad and we got a coach. The rest is history. That was the first gamble we took. The second gamble, I was in my house one morning. My two vice presidents came and said, President, you must get into CAF. Now we have a good team. If you look at the 4 teams that qualified in our group in the historiographic literature of football, in the annals of football history, is the toughest group in World Cup qualifiers anywhere in the world. Of the 5 countries that qualified, Algeria, Nigeria, Cameroon were in the last World Cup. 1 just needed to go. Zambia, all these countries were AFCON winners. Strong and proud footballing nations. It was tough. And of these 4 countries again, 3 of these countries had prominent presence in CAF. Isayatu, Cameroon. Kamisha Boya, Zambia. Rao, Algeria. Nigeria, of course, as usual, we have God. There was nobody. So the first politics was that we should get into CAF. It was very turbulent. It was very tough. All the tricks in the books. And at the end of the day, I was not only elected.
That sports journalists in Nigeria will support the NFF. We will stand by our team. We will project our team in a great light. We will not do anything that is negative, but to tell Nigerians that there is hope and we can do it if we agree. Thank you and God bless us all.
One more time, let's put our hands together for the president of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, Ono Sirao. In the 50-year history of that body, it's the first time we're having an indigenous of Rivers State occupy that position, and we're very excited and proud of you, sir. On that note, with the permission of your excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the next presentation. This one is a speech by the Honorable Minister of Sports in Nigeria, Barrister Solomon Dalong, here represented by Dr. Mrs. Esther Oluwatoyin Aloko. Please, let's put our hands together for her as she steps forward.
Thank you. His Excellency, Barrister Nyesom Wike, the Executive Governor of Rivers State, the power of sport in Africa, Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, please permit me to say all other protocols duly observed. I'm here representing the Honorable Minister of Sport, Barrister Solomon Salkab-Dalum, who is unavoidably absent. I read his remark. I'm highly delighted to be honored and to address this gathering of distinguished stakeholders in Nigeria's sporting world, particularly the most popular sport in the world, football. My delight and elation derive from the fact that today we are here gathered to support a worthy cause, to demonstrate our patriotism as Nigerians by partnering with one another towards a successful and memorable outing for the country's national team, the magnificent Super Eagles. Permit me, Mr. Chairman, special guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to particularly thank the management of the Sun Publishing Limited, organizers of today's event, for its initiative of providing a platform to brainstorm on technical, financial, and moral measures required for the Super Eagles' success at the 2018 World Cup Finals. Indeed, may I state that the organization of this event did not come as a shock, because as publisher of one of the most widely circulated and read newspapers in the country, the Sun newspaper's sport column features the most analytical of all sport columns in the country. On this note, I say thank you to my brother, Dr. Oji Uzo Kalu, for using his platform to champion sports development. When I received the invitation to this seminar, I was immediately struck by its theme that Super Eagles may excel in Russia and beyond. I was captivated by it because upon our qualification for the Mundial, that glorious day, 7th October 2017 in Calabar, my one consuming thought had been glory, glory, and glory for the Super Eagles at Russia 2018. The obsession for a successful outing for the Eagles at the Mundial and indeed beyond is to redeem the past glory. Eagles are the most entertaining team as well as a powerhouse in world football, which we will all recall was our rating and ranking at the FIFA World Cup US 1994. I wish to seek the indulgence of the organizers of this event to infer that its purpose is not to make aware of Nigeria's participation at Russia 2018, because that, I believe, is already known to all participants here. I want to believe that the primary purpose of this seminar is to sensitize and brainstorm on the deliverables of a successful outing at the tournament for the inclusive participation of all Nigerians. An excellent outing by the Super Eagles goes beyond national pride and prestige of our skills at the game of football, but will include its empirical ripple effect on the nation's socio-economic sector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the most viewed sporting event in the world, the FIFA World Cup Finals provides participating countries an opportunity for sponsorship, signings, and deals, which are not limited to the duration of the Mundial. Furthermore, as we are all aware, the amount of sponsorship signings of these multinationals is contingent on the team's ranking and perceived fan base. With our over 180 million population, the Super Eagles no doubt have the requisite fan base. However, its performance at the Mundial will influence further sponsorship commitment. On the social score, the role of sports, particularly football, as a unifying factor in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized and worthy of mention at this forum. By its very nature, sport is not only a social integrator or leisure activity, but an industry with immense potential to contribute to national integration and cohesion. I wish to therefore call on the organizers, speakers, and contributors at this event to use this platform to emphasize our unity in diversity, cultural values, and social ethics of teamwork and commitment. Mr. Chairman, special guests of honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we brainstorm towards the Super Eagles' excellent performance at Russia 2018 and beyond, it is pertinent that we speak on the one most significant factor to the success of the team, which is finance. Upon qualification for the Mundial, the NFF swung into action, and its estimate for our successful participation is almost 4 billion naira. While we are convinced of the Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, GC
areas that led me to this conviction. Number one, you need 4 years, at least 4 years, to prepare for the World Cup. When we talk about a football season, what is the duration of a football season? Some people will say 1 year, 9 months, 6 months. The duration of a football season depends on the competition we are preparing for. For our national league, the duration of our football season is 1 year. For the World Cup, the duration is 4 years. And what is the significance of this? Is that for the World Cup, you have 4 years to prepare. Now, if 2002, it took me only 3 months to prepare a team for the World Cup, although we didn't imagine to the second round. But we were not disgraced. I'm happy my immediate assistant is here, Faneamu. We played 7 friendly matches. We won 5 of them and drew 2 before the World Cup proper. And our victories included the defeat of Scotland in Glasgow, the defeat of Ireland on their ground. Jamaica came, we beat them before we got to the World Cup proper. I'm not used to giving excuses, but I want to emphasize why I'm talking about this. One of the major things that affected us at the World Cup proper was that we were not together for long enough time. Football is a team game, and you need a lot of cohesion, understanding. We were together for less than 3 months, and then we made those achievements. And our very first game against Argentina, again, I don't want to give excuses. Argentina beat us by 1 goal. Then we went into the second game and lost to Sweden by 1 goal to 2. For our third game, we made some changes, and we virtually had a draw. With all those 3 results, I believe that we were not disgraced. We did our best, depending on the period of time we were able to prepare. The ambition of any good football coach is to make the 11 players on the field think and perform like one man. Football is not a group team, it's not a group game, it's a team game. That means everyone involved must perform as a team. And so, if in 3 months we're able to achieve what we achieved, the modest result we had, then if we had enough time, or in future we have enough time to prepare a team, I am convinced that Nigeria can win the World Cup. This time around, the team has been together for about 2 years. So that should be an advantage over what we had in 2002. And with that, and building on what we had, I sincerely believe that Nigeria can win the World Cup. Secondly, since I joined CAF in 1988, that was 30 years ago, and eventually I joined FIFA, I have been involved in technical analysis of football for 30 years now, all over the world. Not just in Africa, all over the world. I was part of FIFA Technical Study Group almost at every World Cup since FIFA in 1994. So what I'm saying is this: I have some knowledge of what football is throughout the world. what the standard is. So what stops Nigeria from my knowledge of this standard? What stops Nigeria from winning the World Cup? We can. And this time around, I pray and wish that we win the World Cup. Some media men are asking me, what is your stake on this one? I say, well, I'm expecting the cup in Nigeria. And I'm sincere about that. All we have to do is that there are certain things needed for victory in football. As a human being, when you go into a venture, you are looking for success. What translates into success in football? Good results. How do you get these good results? From the performances of your players and the technical handlers. What do they need to give you this good result, these good performances? They need fitness. And so if we are able to put all the areas of football fitness into our players, I believe we can win the World Cup. And what are these areas? One, we need to develop our football. And development of football starts from the development of coaches. If you want to improve the standard of education in any country, your first port of call is to produce good quality teachers. If you want to improve the standard of sport, then of course you must have good quality coaches. And this was why, when I was on the technical committee of FIFA, we recommended that FIFA should give each national association some amount of money specifically for development. And I think at that time, it was about $250,000 a year. That has to a high level now. Now, if we develop, then of course, you cannot have it right if you are not doing it right. And so, I believe that the coach who has been employed
in a combination of words, technical and tactical fitness. Because at the world stage, you are dealing with the best. The issues which he didn't have time to bring out, of course, is that in our country, we want to perform, sell in a very short time what takes a minimum of 12 years to prepare for. And to do that successfully, you will have to have the cognate experience of what it takes to prepare a team. And that's exactly what he has tried to present in his paper. So, I guess the organizers will try and distribute the papers. But I want to round up by saying that just like himself and just like the Sun, the managing director of the Sun, did insist, we must all believe that we can. And that is the reason why they have put this together in the first place. And I share your sentiment. We can. I watched one of the friendly matches of the Eagles against Argentina. I was particularly impressed that coming from 2-0 down, they beat Argentina by 4-2. That shows the strength of recovery in that team. Is the NFF chairman left, president left? On behalf of those of us who are stakeholders in football in particular, I want all of us to recognize and give him a round of applause for doing those things that the NFA has not been able to do in history. They are prepared to meet the boys wherever the boys want to meet them. And that is a major advance forward for our football. How he has done it, well, maybe one day he will have the opportunity of telling us how he's been able to resolve the issues of funds as it affects the concentration of our team. So Pinnick and his team, thank you very much. Eric, thank you very much. And to the government of Rivers State, may you continue to be blessed. Thank you very much.
Okay. I stand on all the protocols. And just to say thanks again, Chief Onigbinde wasn't just looking at this World Cup, because from that paper, maybe the lesson on Trinidad and Tobago is something we have also to look at. Some of the things is listed about a team, whether it's a team psychology, fitness, and so on. These are not things taught in months. And unfortunately, the way global football is, you cannot assemble a team these days for more than a couple of weeks, even when they are on off-season, because those clubs have commitments made all over the world. So increasingly, I think our emphasis should be on developing good football teams at the very young ages, so that whether they migrate to wherever they are, as is inevitable with global economy, we still have those players. And over time, we will have what we call the Nigerian team spirit, because it was built. Then the second one, I found that very interesting. When he was talking of the three things to do with football, you receive the ball, return it, or release it. What I was wondering is, what does a player do in the field when he doesn't have the ball? Most of our teams will have a challenge with that. You find out the player who has the ball, everybody is trying to get his attention to pass the ball, and many of them are not well positioned. So technically, we should also teach our players what to do without the ball. And it's very, very key, what to do without the ball. So I don't know which Chief we ask that one in. Maybe it's wrong. Because it's important also as we go on. And when we talk of team spirit and cohesion and so on, we have to deal with very personal problems of players within the teams. Chief Onigbinde, I think maybe when you're rounding up, you also have to talk about this. We hear of players who are not on speaking terms with each other, and they're in the field, and they're playing, and they will never pass the ball anyway to each other, or they pass it in such a way you will know that this other player is not doing well. So when we talk of team spirit, team cohesion, it will take a lot more work than the techniques. You know, these are very personal things. Then, when we also get to issues like developing the players, what we find out most times is that our players have developed themselves before they get to us, because there is no structure properly for getting into the national team. There is no structure for getting into the national team. When we get to Russia, my biggest concern is that we have a team that is not very competitive. The competition I'm talking about is in terms of members of the team. If I'm a defender, for example, do I know if I'm not there's another defender who will take over my position? So if there is that type of competition within the team, we'll produce a better team. It might be late to deal with that, but I think it's still the role of the coach to get every member of that team to realize that there is no entitlement. There's a high sense of entitlement today in our national team, and it's not quite helpful. So I thank you very much for putting this together. And finally, I'm also asking, when we win this World Cup, where are we going to celebrate it? So we should get arenas ready for the celebration and not win the World Cup and find out we cannot celebrate it. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please one more time let's appreciate the great work done by these great discussants and also the Chief himself. Please, I crave your indulgence. that this event is live on television, so please let's have some level of decorum and stability for the sake of the coverage on television, please. One more time, I want to specially thank the presenters and the discussants. The topic they were speaking on was towards a successful campaign in Russia 2018, and the presentation was made by Chief Adeboyo Nigbinde, former coach of the Super Eagles. The discussants were Dr. Patrick Ikeji, former Director General NSC, and also Mr. Ikedi Isigozo. Please let's put our hands together for them one more time, please, as they thank you so much, sirs. You can now go back to your seats, sirs. We really do appreciate. And for those of us in the media, we have taken note of some very important points we can speak about on radio, television, and via the newspapers as to what we can do to develop football in Nigeria and take it to even greater heights. On that note, without any further ado, permit me to invite the next set of discussants and presenter. We're going to have the next paper with the theme Galvanizing Support for the Super Eagles, the Role of Government, Media, and Nigerians. And this paper will be presented by the former Director General, Nigeria Broadcasting Commission.
Yeah. Young was with us when we were winning the Atlanta Olympics game, football tournament, and they taught me this song, and I learnt it that day. I think those of you who understand, it's an Igbo song. You will sing it with me. Oya Chukwu no Gazia. Nigeria will perform. Oya Chukwu no Gazia. One more time, just one more time. Oya Chukwu no Gazia. Nigeria. What is better than a Hausa man speaking an Igbo song?
Well, that's our own quintessential Danladi Bako, the former DG of NBC. Well, emphasizing teamwork, he says if you spend all the money and there's no teamwork, you're not likely to be there. So he says teamwork, the people must rise to the occasion and must be in the right frame of mind to be able to excel. I like Omobolanle to now take us through some other piece. Bola.
All right. Of course, Danladi Bako just spoke right now. And the Nigerian side are heading to Russia. It's no longer news. We all know that. A number of friendly matches have been lined up for the Super Eagles to prepare them ahead of the World Cup. Here in Port Harcourt at the Adokie Amesimaka Stadium, come May 20th, Nigeria will be hosting DR Congo in a friendly match. After that, they travel to England at the Wembley Stadium, where they will play the Three Lions of England on June 2nd. And of course, they'll play Czech Republic in Vienna, Austria, come June 6th. They have already played a number of friendly matches. Before now, they played Argentina, which they beat Argentina 4-2. And of course, they played Poland and beat Poland 1-0.
Thank you for that insight. Thank you very much.
Mentors. However, Your Excellency, I am privileged to be here, and this program would have come at the best time, better than now. But again, what is worth doing well is worth doing well. It should be a biannual event. That's what I ask for, to keep the trend. I'm not a visionary, but I'm requesting, and I know you're going to grant it to the governor's permission, that in 2018, 2020, and 2022, it should come like that. And I see the same forum unveil itself in a better way. The MPR song cannot be thanked because it is a complimentary program to that of the Nigerian Football Federation. And a state like this, that is known for galvanizing sports, is one of the best host states for sports. History is there, from Governor Dili and others. NFF president, my junior brother, when I sold him out that time, people called me names. He has his shortcomings, but he has taken a risk, worth taking, but I'm going to expose him today. Say that. He called me. He said he's taking the decision of a coach. And I said, what is in your mind? They gave me 3 names. He said I should meet him. I met him. He said he's finding it difficult to go through his board or his committee to announce the name. That the choice was for another. I told him, take a risk. If you take a risk, if it works well, you claim. If it doesn't work well, you go with it. Employment of Roy was a controversy. But I was one of those that gave him the confidence to take such a decision. Qualification was an issue. When he lost to South Africa, he panicked. I said there's a difference between the game they were playing and qualification. And I asked him to rebrand. He rebranded, did all he could, eventually we qualified. The term of this program seminar is very strict. Everybody talks about Russia. But let me support the song. They said beyond. The beyond for me is 2022. I'm a realist. I always go different from people because my words come to pass. Super Eagles has been mentioned on the variables. But the one that was not mentioned was the issue of a team preparation. No team is fit. A team might win the World Cup with even injuries and worse performance. The issue comes after every other game. You either build up confidence or you go out of the way. And at the end of it, a winner emerges. So, Super Eagles, the highest we've gone has been second round. For me, second round beyond, that's what you look forward to. I am in support of everybody. I won't go different to say we won't win the World Cup. But the issue I have again, I'm not a soothsayer. Who knows tomorrow? But I believe very strongly, with good preparation, like Chief Olubide have said, sky will be our limit. 2018 should be the preparation for 2020 World Cup finals in Qatar. One thing I'm very sure of is that the team we have, I can boast of 7-8 players for 2022, which is very, very important in a team preparation. World Cup is not 2 years preparation, it's 4 years. So if you add 4 years to 2018, it's going to be 2022, and I'm sure we'll perform the wonders that we least expect. Everybody measure West Half. I saw a brochure. Nobody mentioned me that the day you resume in this country, there was a meeting in Ikoyi with 2 late generals, Admiral Aihomu and General Sani Abacha, who took the bold decision to employ West Half and gave him all the backing. I'm an Abacha. I won't deny it anywhere. But the issue remains, things are done to complement. But at the end of it, I was the one for the foundation team of West Half that took around the whole country, that discovered Omokachi in Kaduna. How did the word bull come about? He pointed at somebody, another player. He was pointing at Omokachi, and I went to them and said, no, bull, 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 bull. That was how the word bull came about. But however, he had a 4 years preparation and had the best team we ever had in Nigeria. But the magic is very straight. There was no magic. The players were playing in their clubs and played the national team. On Saturday, a match we played, here in Port Harcourt and other places. And on Wednesday or Tuesday, they are playing in their respective clubs. But the players, the team we have today, they play on Saturday. You don't see them on a midweek game, and you don't see them at the other time. So the issue remains, if you don't play constantly, is an issue in team preparation. So the result we have today, because our players are not playing well, that was the reason. 1993 World Cup. I stayed in Virginia for 3 years with the team. I was playing all friendly games, more than 100 and something friendly games. And I was begging teams to register the players for me, including the Diarrhea and others that were here. I begged them, so please let me register this player to play. The extent was to keep them playing for club sides. What I'm trying to say is that long-term preparation will amount to objective of what you want to do. But short-term, there's no magic. Korea, Japan, I was the technical director. Chimonibide insisted I must go with him. We sat together, put everything together. At the end of the day, we had a team. And I convinced him the reason why, when they refused to come, we should consider Okocha as the captain. We played the first 2 games. At the 3rd game, we discovered that players were going to discuss about contracts. So I called Chimonibide. I was very angry. You know why I was angry? The allowance they brought, the dollars were there. They didn't pay us. So at the end of it, the last game against England, we changed the game. Brought a player like Emeka Yama. They eventually made his mark. However, on Bako's paper, I believe very strongly that the political will of the federal government under the Honorable Minister is very vital in a team preparation. The funding is there, it comes from every angle, but it should be complementary. The support of this government to host this seminar should be seen as a vital support. And I believe very strongly that His Excellency has promised that he's going to do more for the team before they travel. It's a plus. Lastly, I thank everybody. What should come in our mind should not be Amaju Clinic. It should not be NFF. It should be we as a Nigeria to ensure that we support the team to perform very well in Russia. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, let me thank Your Excellency the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, the representative of Honorable Minister, the Swan Chairman, my good friend, my in-law, the President of NFF, the award-winning President. I recognize the Swan President and also my good friend Boma. Let me be fast because I'm not a coach. Let me say that I'm trying to dissect the paper of the last speaker. The last speaker is a great orator. He speaks very well. We've known him for years. And I was saying if you don't take the microphone from him, he would like to talk and talk. So, cheers to Alhaji Bako. What he has said is that the power of football is immeasurable. Nothing in the world arrests people more than football. Karl Marx said that religion is the opium of the masses. But today, football is the opium of the masses. Football is the only thing that can stop wars. Football is the only thing that can bring religions together. Football is the only thing when it's taking place. Husband and wife quarreling will set it aside to watch Okocha play. That's the power of football. And therefore, the Super Eagles have that power to make a difference in the country, and they have always made. And he also tried to tell us that it has become easier more because of the good leadership of Amaju Pinnick. Amaju Pinnick, being somebody who is marketing oriented, realized that the only way to take Nigerian football different from his predecessor was to do correct marketing. So he took the NFF and Super Eagles beyond just a product and made it a super brand. It is a super brand that it is today. That is why the sponsors are falling all over that brand called the Super Eagles. That brand has also yielded the requisite resources, which is the money. And that the money is what is the why there is no quarrel in Nigerian football today. Because Amaju is not going cap in hand to government to ask for money. He has gotten the resources from the private sector. He's able to run the training. He's able to run the camp. He's able to bring peace to Nigerian football because he's not waiting for government approval. And that is why, as he has said, up to now, no presidential committee, the first time in a long time. In the past, there's always a presidential committee for World Cup. Instead of bringing peace, it will cause problem. Because the NFF will always feel that their jobs have been hijacked. But this time, none. Because he has given a positive attitude, a positive character to what football is. Can we put our hands together for him? I don't envy him and the NFF. Football, you can never, impress anybody. There are a lot of criticism whether you do, because every Nigerian is a coach. Every Nigerian is an aspect. They will tell you why a particular player played well or not, or why coach should have invited another one and not the other one. But why he has solved it is by recruiting a foreign coach. We not go on. And has given him the latitude to operate. For the first time, we are not hearing favoritism in the invitation of players. No more quarrel in the national team because they look forward to the man. The man, I'm told, is a multi-millionaire as a rich man. So it's not the salary he's getting because he has the personality and the boys know it. So they listen to him because the results are supposed to come. Our Super Eagles today are built around young elements. These young elements have not been corrupted by the Nigerian political system via our football. In the past, probably I'm talking as an insider, let me just concentrate. So we applaud you for the corporate support, and also he also said that the praise is because the Honorable Minister is not interfering. Yes, and perhaps not so. Let me say my opinion. He may have been interfering, but the maturity of the NFF has helped to solve the problem. In the past, some NFF leadership would challenge the minister, take him up and even go public, and it becomes a problem. But this time around, they manage the situation in-house. Whether there is interference, yes there is, but it is the management of the NFF in managing the boss that is why there is peace. Now, talking about the NFF bill, the NFF bill is time it is passed and assented to as it has been passed. NFF President, you have a duty to give Mr. President to assent to that bill. When it is done, it's going to change the complexion of Nigerian football. A lot of things will come under law. Nobody goes to court anyhow. The NFF now have the right to do certain things they ought to do. Lack of interference will be experienced, and of course our Nigerian football will be better for it. He spoke about players and being together. Again, I said because we do not have many political players. That is why there is peace in the Super Eagles. We have young boys who want to make a name. Like Fanemu said, in the next World Cup, Nigeria will be counted. Nigeria will be a force. Because you have players who still have 5-10 years to go in Super Eagles, and they're going to give their best. That's when they will mature. The older the wine, the better it is. Again, in '94, like he said, when Westerhoff allowed the players to bring their wives to camp, it was a problem. There were a lot of politics. There was a problem between Stephen Keshi and Chidi Nwano and the rest of them. Let's not go there. But this time, there is unity, thanks to Amaju Pinnick. And let me say this. For the first time, players getting alert before they walk up. If I were them, I would blow the heavens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for former DG NBC, former Golden Eaglets coach Fanny Amo, and astute football administrator, High Chief Emeka Iyama, chairman of Abia Warriors Football Club. We're almost done. A round of applause for them. A round of applause for them. Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost done with proceedings. May I, at this juncture, invite to the rostrum the Honorable Commissioner for Sports in Rivers State, Honorable Boma Iyaye, to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Dr. Mrs. Ipalebo Hari Banigo, President of Nigerian Football Federation, MD Son, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the day is fast spent. We don't need to talk too much again. We'll just try and see how we can end this program because we'll have other engagements at the state level to continue the day. Your Excellency, let me make a few remarks before I make my vote of thanks. First, for our visitors from outside Port Harcourt, this afternoon we have another state function, which is a novelty football match between the New Rivers women, led by our able Deputy Governor, Her Excellency, they are going to play against their men counterparts, which will be led by the governor himself. So we're providing transport for our visitors at the hotel. Immediately after this program, maybe you have your lunch, we'll provide vehicles for you to take you to the stadium, Shark Stadium, along Hospital Moscow Road, so that you can have some time to unwind and then have a feel of the hospitality of Port Harcourt and Rivers State. Also in the evening, at about 8 p.m., we will have a small reception for all the participants that come from outside Port Harcourt here in Hotel Presidential. So you will also be expected to be there. Having said that, Your Excellency, let me thank all and everybody, especially our guest lecturers, who have come here this afternoon. My big brother, Dr. Ekeji, I've not seen you in a while. I'm also excited to see you this afternoon. Chief Onigbide, one-time Super Eagles coach, especially the president of the Nigerian Football Federation. I'm so happy you came in, you stayed from the beginning to the end. The MD of SON for organizing this initiative, I must say a very big thank you to you. But before I conclude, let me tell you what happened in Belgium a few days ago. One of the foreign journalists came to me to say, when did Nigeria change the capital of, when did the capital of Nigeria change to Rivers State? And I was shocked, I was confused and taken aback. I said, no, it has not changed. He said, so why is it that everything is happening in Rivers State is in Rivers State? I said, you must give kudos to the governor of Rivers State. Port Harcourt and Rivers State is now the sporting capital of Nigeria. And is the one-stop destination for all sports events. So we must continue in that light. And I want to say a very big thank you to His Excellency. I'm sure his able deputy will let him know that we're grateful as the sporting community for all he has done for sports development in this state. On Monday, the 28th, we're going another a step further. We're laying the foundation stone for Real Madrid Football Academy. We'll be president and all the echelon of the Nigerian Football Federation, again here in Port Harcourt. So for us, it's a continuous development in sports. And we must say very big thank you to His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State.
Nature also gives you the economic importance of the trees. We are talking about
service of the NTA.
Using Adobe Illustrator or any of the programs available right now, it's you have an idea of an outfit or an idea of a line of clothing, a fashion line, and you want to explain it to your group or your crew, like the tailor and the artisans that are working with you. You need to bring out pictorial show, a pictorial definition of what you're trying to explain. So as a fashion illustrator, you need to know how to work with your colors, you need to know how to work with your textures. The way you paint denim isn't the same way you paint leather. It's not the same way you're going to paint silk or the same way you're going to draw silk.
A stylist has to monitor the hairstyling, the makeup person, and then is in charge of the clothing and how the clothing is put together. That's very important because you can have very beautiful clothing and then the way you combine them is just not working. At the end of the day, that really counts. So the style
say, hello, I'm a fashion designer. I said, you're looking for a fashion designer. I said, I'm the fashion designer. I'm looking for a tailor. You know, everybody just like that title. People are not really, they don't even know what it entails.
A fashion designer is someone who designs clothes, accessories, and shoes for consumers and retail companies. A fashion designer will spot and create fashion trends influenced by popular cultural and social attitudes, sketch designs, and select materials.
Right lineage, apparent, to hell, blue by the blood, blue peel beneath the skin. On my day of birth, I came by umbilical, blue by the curves. So the trumpet was blown, racking biblical times. So cynical minds aligned for this blue-eyed melanin bundle of royalty. A gathering of Thomases, doubtful.
A lot of us prove to be photographers in a way as we use various applications to treat our images. We decided to visit a photographer, Felix Adebayo, while on duty to really understand this career.
The shoot I'm having today, it's about a campaign shoot for a fashion brand. And then I'll be working with one model, Faith Johnson of Fowler Models. I'm working with Moashi Styling, the fashion stylist and the creative director. I'll be working with Soche, makeup artist. I'll be working with Ferdinand Hair is a hairstylist as well. And I can say it's a very good career. Gone are the days when you tell Nigerian parents that you want to be a professional photographer, you want to be a cinematographer, you want to be a makeup artist or something, and then they look down on you like, what? Your mate are doing this, your mate are doing that. But nowadays, I believe photography has got to the level whereby we can stand before kings. There could be challenges, there could be times where you have to upgrade and all that. So I started using the Nikon D5100, which is a crop sensor camera, but I had to upgrade to the D600 because it's a full frame camera. You can't compare the product, what they produce. You can't really compare because the dynamic range of one is greater than the other. I get it. So when it comes to producing image of high standard grades, images for advertisements and all that, you definitely need to get a good camera to give you that thing. So even I'm planning on upgrading this one too because I want to use the best. I get it. So when it comes to lighting, various hazards happen in the studio when you're working with these things. So I've had a situation where I had to upgrade and all that. Most times I started with one light and one speed light. I had to upgrade to two lights. I need two strobes, and I had to upgrade to three. I don't use a lot of light because a lot of light is not what makes great image. I believe in shadows. So difference is when it comes to shooting interior, when it comes to the indoors and outdoor, because indoors you can control your environment indoors. Like you can control the power of light, you can control the intensity of light, you can control a lot of things when it comes to indoor. I get me, because it's a controlled environment. But when it comes to outdoor, if you're using natural light first, it comes up, comes down. There's this fluctuation when it comes to sunlight. Sunlight might go in one time, go out one time. Are you getting me? So you don't have stable intensity or amount of light when it comes to outdoor. But at the same time, as a photographer, you must be able to control yourself or control your environment wherever you are. Are you getting me? Even though it's indoor, even though it's outdoor. I've had situation when I shot outdoor and then the sun was doing somehow, but I had to put it under control. Like I added additional lights. Are you getting me? So you can control. There's no really any challenges if you have the necessary gears. Relationship with model, stylist, makeup artist, and clients, I try to maintain a professional, friendly kind of relationship with them. I don't want so much playful in their face like that, and time to work, it's time to work. I get me. I've worked with quite a number of models in the industry, and then I really enjoy working with them.
You are still watching Lens. Models are very important to the business of fashion and photography. We bring to you the diary of a Nigerian model.
I choose modeling. Well, really, it just came as I wouldn't say a surprise, but it just happened. You know, back then I used to be in this dance group, and we had like a job which we had to infuse models into it. So I think the very first time I saw a modeling rehearsal, I was just captivated. Like I was so interested in doing the whole walk thing, the runway thing. So I think the director actually approached me and said, "Have I ever thought of modeling or trying something like that?" I said, "Well, I haven't, but I would like to try." So that was how the whole modeling thing started for me. Well, first job as a model, it was a very small fashion show. That was way back in Calabar where I stayed. It was just a small fashion show. I wasn't even paid for it anyway, so. First day for me as a model, that's going to be the very first audition I went for. Okay, that should be. I casted for Elite Model Look and I was turned down, and it was really sad and devastating, but nevertheless I kept on pushing on. Well, how I keep fit and healthy, I don't really do the whole diet thing here. I just live, I just work out when I have the time to. Travel destination for holidays, I think that would be. Well, I would love to go to the Caribbean. But I've heard so much about that place, and I think it's like a travel destination for me, like a dream destination for me.
what I love most about living in Lagos. I think it's going to be the hustling spirit, you know, the hustling and bustling of the city. You know, city that never sleeps, and it keeps you on your feet. It keeps you being, trying to be innovative, thinking. Who must I can hear this? Really, I just think. Okay, back then it used to be Tyson Beckford because I think he used to be one of the highest paid role model in the world back then. So I don't know about now, but for me, I just think I just do me. I just have to be myself, and I think that's what my own style is. You know. What time do I go to bed? I don't really have a time frame when I do it, because sometimes I stay up late till maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m. When I really have things on my mind or things I'm doing, probably trying to think, you know, or probably trying to pray at night, you know. That's like perfect time for prayer.
tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ láyé olúgbọ́n àgbàgbé balùjà orí ọmọ tuntun. ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ò lè yí o, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ò lè yí o, àràbà túnra mú odò ń gbà rere. nígbà kan a long time ago náírà kan la fi ń ṣẹ̀bẹ̀ o, ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí o ìgbà tí yí padà. Fresh brown milk ìyẹn ti di ṣòro.
Music is creative and comes very easy to some talents. But do you also know that most of our musicians are highly employable in terms of their resume? Check this out.
A section of the public has a general opinion that most Nigerian musicians did not smell a school gate, let alone attend a lecture. We are here to inform you officially, if you do not know, that most of our celebrated musicians can be employed should they decide to quit music today or tomorrow. These selected musicians have also gone further with their education, and some others honorary.
What is your postcode? I need your number. I want to see your number. Yeah, let me show you your love. I know go down. Baby, give me love. I know go down. For your love, I go fight Chinese. I know but only they call police. Cause levels done change. Levels done change now. They don't free to hold me again. Now I'm 10 over 10. Levels done change now. They don't free to hold me again. Cause I'm 10 over 10. Yes, now I'm 10 over 10. 10 over 10. 10 over 10. She can now I'm 10 over 10. 10 over 10. 10 over 10. She can 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 now I'm 10 over 10. Let me go. Everybody, let's go. Let me go. Let me go. Let me see. Let me let me put me on the feel. I'm not check out the do it. They used to we go low, but now we go. I got like to go.
is here, and the Muslim community of the NTA2 Lagos Network Center invites you to this year's Yusuf Gibo Ramadan lecture. Date 14th Ramadan, 14:39 AH. Time 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Venue NTA2 Lagos Network Center premises, Provision House, Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos. Under the chairmanship of Alhaji Abdulateef Femi Okunu, National President and Southern Society of Nigeria. Chief host Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, Director General NTA. Host Chidi Uluka, Zonal Director NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Special guest of honor Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, Speaker Lagos House of Assembly. Spiritual Father of the Day Sheikh Sulaiman Abu Nola, Chief Imam of Lagos. Guest lecturers Commander Gidaro Taufik Migdad, Acting Director.
Business Network Center.